Hey, Doc, sorry for the intro, but I've got nothing to sell. Stranded Steve was a success. Thanks for buying that. If you did, it went to go support a great cause. Hey, Docs, I have a Twitch stream. It's gonna be for charity, reading the book. Like tomorrow or tonight, it's on screen. So follow me and we'll read the book together. Bye. I'm here to tell you again, sorry for the delay. I've been depressed. What's new? Actually, I've been feeling a lot better. A lot of stuff has gotten off my chest and I'm ready to go into the YouTube ring and box every other gaming YouTuber with glasses. And it's funny, because I don't even wear them. Now, you might be thinking, oh wow, Haedox, what great timing. Make a video about the end of something during a very pandemic thing. It wouldn't be Haedox without introspection, a side of depression, and a dash of death. So, I hope you don't hate it. It's a little more hopeful than the title leads on. I'm hyperbolic.
I think like if a lot of things had like death clauses in them, we wouldn't have a lot of problems in the world, to be honest, you know. So I think endings are good because they force things to get better. So yeah.
Hey, Docs. I used to be scared about, you know, the end of everything. As a kid, that ish drove me almonds, which is to say a little nutty. I'd think about it with everything, from shutting down Roller Coaster Tycoon and wondering where all those people went, to worrying about if my webkins would keel over, to my Jaju passing away when I was 9. Here on Earth, something's here, and then it's not, and then it's never. And understandably, the finale is what we dread. It's what we build our lives around. Ernest Becker described these actions as immortality projects, where we pursue something we believe that creates meaning for our lives before and after the end. Whether that be making a lot of money for ourselves and then for our children, or do we want to bring up, like, Genghis Khan in this gaming video? Anyways, we actively work towards not having to deal with the end until it's here, sadly. We all hope for just a little sliver of time more. I know what I'll hope for when I'm on my deathbed. That I could have won the presidency and been the first Let's Player president and created National Gamer Day. Trust me, it would be great. You'd be legally forced to buy a video game on that day, and it would be, say it with me, audience, Garfield big fat hairy deal. Y'all just got doxed. Welcome to my new YouTube puke green prank show, everyone, which will be canceled if an unknown amount of people don't watch it, despite having nothing to do with the Haedoxic brand expanded universe. Patent pending, copyrighted, trademarked. Wow, this segues perfectly into something I wanted to get my greasy, sweaty, competitive Smash Bros hands on for a while. The death of video game series and why sometimes a definitive end can be good. It's important to note that I'm not really talking about death in the literal sense. I'm talking about death like in the creative realm, as in endings of game series. So I'm being a bit hyperbolic with the title of the video, but that's only because of ad revenue. And also, it's if I do say so myself, it is a nice title. For those who have yet to be indoctrinated into the Chibi Robo cult of sadness, my jokey joke before was in reference to the apparent forceful death of the 4-inch metallic fellow. Before we even begin to get the argument train a-rollin', he serves as a counterexample to letting a franchise die. Let's bust this cold case open and examine this autopsy. Knife.
Check.
Gamer gear.
Check.
Nostalgic ad revenue?
Still waiting on that one, Doc.
Damn, alright. G to the yus. What have they done to you, little buddy?
He's not looking so good, Doc.
Looks like he has a bad case of the pointless spin-offs, and they're shutting you down after not even localizing the only real sequel to your first title? Harsh. Harsh. Not even in Smash? Dark Pits in Smash! Damn, whoever did this. Golly.
He's stuck, Doc.
What?
He's in game limbo, Doc. A place you never wanted to travel to. Docstar!
And this is the part where the Dr. Haedox gets sucked into the game limbo where the rest of the episode takes place. Anyways, pause the jokes. There's really no organic place to put this meta commentary, but I thought it was something worth mentioning. This shot, I'm in a graveyard, right? It was recorded in June 2019. This spot, it's exactly where my grandpa was buried 6 months later. Something even crazier is this frame. It was recorded on June 4th, 2019. My grandpa's birthday is June 3rd. Basically, what I'm saying is this video is haunted by my dead grandpa. You're welcome. Also, I love you if you're there. Welcome to Game Limbo again, patent pending, trademark, copyrighted, a personal hell for video game series left to rot without someone just ending their misery. It's a place where the thoughts of people who play video games go to add to their sufferings, like old Banjo over there. It's said every time someone makes a rise and fall of Banjo-Kazooie, he gets run over 47 times by the cars from Nuts and Bolts. I'm sorry, but if I added lo-fi hip-hop, that would be an extra 20. Though some have it worse than others, it seems. Chibi Robo keeps phasing in and out of this place because no one truly knows if Ziplash pulled the final plug on the lad forever. No one will definitively say, yep, he's dead, lol, get on, Chibi Roboers, and do an epic Fortnite dance on his grave. See, you can really tell this was written in a different era. This is what I refer to as a fate worse than death. A curse once shared by a jort-sporting bandicoot and a toy-encrusted purple dragon. These franchises were only mostly dead, but the OG Sony couple somehow managed to escape unscathed, delivering great-looking remakes and the potential for something even more I'm not saying that 2018 Haedox. Amazing. For them, it was good that they weren't thrown away and left for dead. I view Spyro and Crash like a balloon. Yep, balloon. That was going at the whole expanding thing for too long. Had to rest in limbo for a while to recharge, and then was able to get up and back at it afterwards for a bit longer than before. People tend to forget that both Crash and Spyro were milked dry, delivering husks of what the original vision was by the end. This transformation into what most fans didn't like about the two was probably the cause of the reboot remake, to kickstart the franchise cleansing its past sins. In these examples, as is the case with Banjo, Chibi Robo, F-Zero, and the such, I feel like Game Limbo is a nice place to settle for a while until they can be given a proper game in their nature. Killing them off completely would erase the potential these IPs still have. Chibi Robo still has its suitable Japanese-only release that might have done well here. If only Nintendo didn't strike a deal to sell his soul to Walmart in the DS era. I still don't know why Park Patrol was a Walmart exclusive, but here we are. F-Zero, while somewhat being replaced by Mario Kart 8, still has some merits to be a fun, super fast, blood-pumping racing title to distinguish itself from Mario's karting experience. That's a super surface level summation of F-Zero, but hey, Docs. And Capcom, being the true anime Chad on prom night, has dragged Mega Man from this game limbo in his 11th studio debut. I hear it's good. I haven't played it yet. Most of these series were brought to an abrupt end, so attempting to resuscitate them could be a good thing. But that's not to say giving CPR to every IP is the same way. Some should be left for dead. Not left for dead, mind you. Telltale's The Walking Dead is my go-to example for this because, come on, did we really need that season 3? The final season is already a time skip disregarding Javier's story and focusing on AJ and Clem. They could have just gone from season 2 to this one and it would have made no difference. Telltale bloated the story for the sake of continuing their most popular IP, and it, to me, ruined what could have been a concise, neat story about surviving an apocalypse. Not to mention what a sour note to end your series and company on. Both Kenny and Jane stub their toe and die, irregardless of season 2. Well, Jane kinda... hate what they did to you, Jane. 5-minute cutscene. For what? So the writers could find another plotline to try to carry on the IP with? You don't need to be like The Walking Dead and arrive to the conclusion at a walker's pace. Please compliment that pun if you recognize it in the comments. Kingdom Hearts, as much as I love that game unconditionally like the Riku x Mickey fanfic it is, unfortunately has the same problem. The concept and plot has been stretched so thin that it becomes ridiculous. Wouldn't it have been better if we trimmed the fat? We being me and Nomura? I made the game! Me! The fans! Maybe, but then we wouldn't have gotten this gem.
Clayton!
Not Clayton. Not Clayton.
Sure, I've learned to love it for the dumb mess it is, but really, we could have just had 3 or 4 games to follow Sora's adventure. Not... Insert number here. For narrative-driven games, they suffer from being kept alive to an excessive extent. Stories that are overextended become boring and monotonous. Nobody wants to keep playing the same repeated cycle again and again and again and again and again and again. Maybe Madden fans would disagree. Same goes for anything, really. If I deliberately stretched out a video and just repeated everything again and again, I might be rolling in that ad revenue, but you might be a little peeved and annoyed. Let me make myself clear. If I deliberately stretched my video... Anyways, I think I look at Naughty Dog as an example of bringing their stories to a satisfying ending. Uncharted might not be over as an IP. It might be silly to do that considering how popular it is, but Nathan Drake's arc sure is. According to them right now on this date, say what you want about A Thief's End, and I will too. I think it ended that specific storyline in a way that was good for fans and for the developers. Yeah, I can put words in your mouth, but for what it is, it's a pretty good conclusion. If a developer wants to end their series, that's how it should go. Not with threats of the IP being lost forever, not with radio silence on when the next installment is, not with burning out into a pile of ashes. The end should be made clear to themselves and their audience. There are franchises that lend themselves well to survival. I think Mario is such an adaptable IP that is consistently able to be marvelous and distinct with a slower release cycle to prevent fatigue. And Sonic's been through too much hell to die now. For the majority of IPs though, I think death is a valid and probably good option. This prevents franchise fatigue, and closing a chapter on anything can be positive. It forces a creator to move on to different prospects and experiment, developing the same IP again and again. Annual release after annual release is a safe move, and it will make a profit, but is it creatively satisfying? Is it rewarding? Will the sales slow down and the team get burnt out? I can see why Activision doesn't want the same developer working on every consecutive COD title they publish. Madden NFL sales are down. Maybe why people flock to newer, more interesting takes on the shooter formula, like Fortnite, is because this milking of franchises has caused too much saturation of the same IP. Maybe people who buy video games are finally realizing that endings in their personal purchasing decisions are good as well. Anyways, how do I leave this place? It's time to plug my social media. Stay calm, Paul Ironblade of Wizard 101 fame. You've been here before. In your visions. Except because isn't here to tell you it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be...
That's for Skylanders!
Hello, Haedox. It's me, St. Garfield. I've been cursed as the one who passes divine judgment.
No.
Have you said the N-word in the past 5 gaming sessions?
No. St. Garfield. I'm not racist.
Disappointing. Do you renounce Satan and all of his evil gamer references?
I'm pretty sure I f***ed up at least 10 times in this just one bit.
Can we just I feel like you wouldn't go to heaven either. You strike me as the kind of guy who gets suplexed into hell by Jesus himself.
Okay. While you decide. Y'all mind if I video essay? Let's take these ideas further and discuss some counters.
I guess there's a spider.
First, an anecdote about loss. Not the meme, death. Which are synonymous. Anyways, while working on this video, I've had plenty of time to think about the concept of loss itself. Several close relationships came to a close. Working relationships died. Best friends passed. And my grandpa's dead. In August of 2019, when I wrote that, I said he was dying. Loss has been weaving through my life, stitching itself into the great big messy quilt that is my existence. Yet, I've rejected this loss, and I keep rejecting it, wanting more time to say something more meaningful to those lost. We've discussed accepting death, but isn't it equally valid to reject it? I knew it. Guess it's like St. Garfield said, huh? Well, anyways, when we protest companies with petitions and endless social media replies and macros that I'm sure they just simply adore, we're pushing back against the inevitability of death for our favorite franchises. Those unaffiliated with deep gamer culture might say,
Isn't it rather some fool to be perturbed at the demise of such childish shenanigans like video games?
into that straw boomer I've created. Perhaps. However, some of us tie these games to important moments in our lives. We frame some semblance of past joy within our favorite gaming experiences. Kinda weird to say this, but some games of my youth I tie deeply with memories of joy or sadness. From my Chow dying in Sonic Adventure 2 and losing him forever, to watching my brother play NFL Blitz drinking chocolate milk, to this gigantic world I built with my pals in Minecraft in middle school. You do not know how tempting it is just to stop the video now and give you a tour of my frankly bomb-ass Minecraft land. When we reminisce on some IP like Chibi Robo or Golden Sun, I think we yearn for a return or continuation of those memories we attach to those games. We want to relive those moments, perhaps updated and as mature as we are. That idealized, prelapsarian viewpoint is natural, and sometimes, I don't think there's anything wrong with throwing aside the rational intellectualism that plagues the internet and just fully immersing yourself in the emotion those games bring. Sometimes I want to switch off my critical framework and switch on a more relaxed one, like an elderly woman on bingo night. Bingo, game design-wise, sucks. Expect a 30-minute critique soon. But bingo has some appeal. You know, the very nature of the social event of bingo is going out.
Okay, that's enough. We've had enough of that talk.
Thank you. There's always the past games to replay, yes, but I think most people already know that. When Mighty Number 9 came out, a common criticism was just to simply go and play Mega Man. Keep in mind, at the time, Mega Man 11 wasn't a thing, and nobody really expected another Mega Man game at all. Is this line of thinking controversial? You know what, whatever, I'm not afraid to go to wrong opinions jail again. On topic again, golly, I say that a lot. Sure, yeah. But at that point, Mega Man enthusiasts just wanted to re-experience a new title in the same vein as the originals, perhaps as a way to re-experience those past happy memories as well. Sometimes you might not even own those nostalgic games anymore. Maybe your mom traded in your copy of Chibi Robo on the GameCube for a Zumba game on the Wii. Maybe there's no legal way to play those games right now. Maybe it's actually impossible to replay those games with servers shutting down and your digital space being lost forever. And on that note, I feel like I'm tapping into some gamer psychology 250H. Even then, those games never really die though. They become something different. Even if a franchise doesn't continue, it transforms. It lives on through the medium with its ideas and innovations. If one day Nintendo decides to completely axe Super Mario, I'd question why they'd choose such a gruesome way to kill off their IP, but I'd rest assured knowing Super Mario's ideals would live on until the heat death of the known universe. Through its influence over the platformers it inspired, and those gameplay quirks it popularized, all that made Super Mario great would carry on in some small way in the creative realm of gaming. Gameheim, if you will. You could say this about numerous IPs, old or still going. F-Zero to Mario Kart 8, what with the intense speed and zero gravity, and also the 2 tracks that it lifted from F-Zero, Banjo-Kazooie to Mario Odyssey, structure-wise at the very least, or Zelda to Dark Souls, and let's check that off the list. Point is, modern games are a product of the games of a time gone by, when hope was large and life worth living. But then again, as I was baking a video cake of one part editing and another part depression, a small worm of regret crawled out of my ear and whispered, "What about Luigi?" What about Luigi? Part 6. About Luigi. Luigi was birthed out of the leftover pixels they couldn't afford to thicken Mario with. Or so Wikipedia tells me. That's one of those gamer jokes when I say a fault that's a fact. Redo. I messed up recording this part, so I'm gonna film it here. The main point was that Luigi's Mansion is a good spin-off, and Wario Land 1 and 2 are too, so it's a good example of how to do spin-offs right in a good world. Yeah! This is not always a perfect solution for every IP. Chibi Robo Ziplash, Metroid Prime, Federation Force, Hey Pikmin come to mind as fairly mediocre expansions of their respective franchises. But I'd argue that's because they missed the point of what made those original games and the worlds they created so powerful and captivating for the fans that fell in love with them. Also, they're not even that great in the context of their respective series reputations. When a game's foundation becomes too stale, I think that you either need to change up the formula and reinvent the foundation, or strip it away and start totally fresh, or move on and do something entirely different as a creative individual. Basically, I'm saying you just gotta be good. Insomniac grew tired of working on Spyro and moved on to Ratchet and Clank. Naughty Dog grew tired of making Jak and Daxter and moved on to Uncharted. Maybe instead of focusing on what's left behind, we should focus on what these people are doing moving forward. It's sad when a developer like Skip Ltd is stuck in limbo for Chibi Robo, whether that be through budgetary issues or poor series planning. I mean, they wanted to do so much more with the IP. It's disappointing that they couldn't do that with Ziplash. The creative process with games is challenging, no doubt. And that's not even considering the financial side that steers the flow of the creative process into dead ends and muddies the water completely sometimes. I feel the same way about my own content. Haedox as a creative process is limited by the fact that I'm a college student and I'm broke. And I basically need to finish videos in a timely manner, which is something I have not been good at, but something that is recommended in my field. I think of spinning off and expanding into other areas as my own individual Paul instead of Haedox. But is my brand as strong as Mario's, where Luigi is still popular despite not being as popular as Mario? I don't know. People often refer to the rise and fall of XIP, but even though I, the god gamer I am, started that trend, sometimes the conclusions are whack. What if your favorite series ended on a somber note, like a bad breakup? Maybe you want closure, a second chance. You know full well I wanted that with Spyro, with how much I whined about Skylanders existing, even though some kids experienced Spyro for the first time in a way they loved. Wow, I hate myself. Give it 10 years and the IP resurfaces as another installment or a spiritual successor. The rise certainly occurs, but the fall? What if it's not as cut and dry? It's always ambiguous because ideas, characters, and all that constitutes a video game survives much longer than our
Mortal souls.
Whoa. Holy shit. Oh, no. Mario will not join me in the grave. He's immortal. Why are we always transfixed on the fall? We can't ever go back to the past. But companies definitely try to emulate it as best they can for that money. Bubsy, Mega Man, Spyro, Crash, Classic Sonic, you name it, I'm too lazy to anymore. These persist. They fall, but from their ash, they rise anew. We tend to frame games through the lens of the market and how they perform, lambasting those that don't meet expectations as failures and praising the games we like performing well. But a game's quality or ideas don't correspond to a game's sales. There might be a correlation, sure, however, this financial lens seems so formal, and like we're reinforcing this weird belief that
This is the blank game you've never heard about.
or the forgotten games trend that's happening now and forever. I play into all these criticisms, by the way. I'm just really putting myself on blast here.
Being self-aware about being a hypocrite doesn't make you any less of a hypocrite.
But what if I'm self-aware about being a hypocrite? Oh, the question remains, does any of this even matter? I mean, putting aside the futility of reviews and think pieces' ability to actually change people's perspectives, I'm arguing against something that's entirely emotional, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way. In fact, being in touch with your emotions is hot AF. Gamers, tip for you. For any of your dating purposes, put in your bio, I do cry, and I am horny for emotional maturity. You know, do that. And if you don't get any money or women or nothing, call me. Here's my actual cell phone, and you can get it because I was doxed. I'm putting Hey, I was doing a counter.
Klonoa should come back because it has
Story
creative
that can
gameplay.
make this 22-year-old cry.
Have I missed?
It's really unlike anything else on the market.
Fascinating world that doesn't serve not
Sure, it has eggs.
If Raymond was pumping
I
Pikmin is a wonderful franchise.
Pikmin's
two plant creatures that
good,
come
dude.
treasure in the name of
You know what they ended
capitalism.
up doing? They ended up with a stupid cliffhanger with no intention of continuing on.
Anyway, y'all should bring back the
Ezreal really hasn't had a game in 16 years.
to die on the Nintendo DS.
Jack, I really love Star Trek.
God, it's been 10
See, people love these games. My take is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Because I don't want to take your love for any game series that you have away from you. Joy is so sparse in the world we live in. Everything's depressing a lot of the time. And if video games are that wondrous thing that just makes you feel love and beauty in the world, don't let whatever I'm saying distract you from that. I'm offering another perspective, but then again, there is no point to YouTube videos. That's the funny thing about reviews. They always say, Haedox, why are you so angry all the time? But I'm not angry. I'm just really sad. In conclusion, St. Garfield the Wise, death is complex. In a sense, death in the creative realm is nothing more than a means for creativity itself, for change. You dismantle the establishment, stripping the former for only ideas you'd like to keep and build something new from it. I'd argue Super Mario Bros. Died the year it came out. Any subsequent release were entirely new, only taking some of the building blocks developers decided were good and leaving the others in the dust.
That it is, young Haedox. But you mustn't dwell on death. That's like Mondays. Everyone gets to experience them. Some people ignore them, carrying on with what matters, and others tend to obsess over the blemish, like it's an error to be fixed. Truth is, Haedox, Mondays and death are inevitable. You have two choices. Worry about death and Mondays, paralyze yourself over their impact, or worry about death and Mondays while choosing to keep going.
There's gotta be a third option somewhere.
Hey, I'm not the one who spent his $14,000 semester taking a philosophy class, Haedox.
I hate you, Garfield. I hate that you even exist. I hate this whole Garfield Kart X Haedox connection that won't just die either.
I'm not even real. You're the one typing this.
Oh. So the point was that. What a crazy little adventure, bud. Felt like we learned a lot, you know? Good work, by the way. I love my new look. Super cute surgeon attire and, Kane? This video was partially made in 2018. So far, it's mirrored my own struggles to accept closure and move on. During that time, I was working with another person on this project. That ended when school started that year. It took me a long time to realize that our relationship ending wasn't as negative as I thought. It didn't work out, but it didn't have to forever. And what I learned from working with another person on a creative project, how I felt inspired by collaboration and everything else, it forced things to get better. It forced me to become more empowered as an individual creator, and I think it did force things to change and get better. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb gaming YouTuber. And the narrative arc is that the pants are back and they're here to stay, as am I. Whenever I think about Donald Glover's quote, I just can't help but wonder when my expiration date is, you know? I don't want to drag this channel out with the same repeated song and dance of business bad, a Garfield cart, no matter how many clicks it might generate. I'm not burnt out, but I'd like to end the channel on a note I'm happy with. Maybe moving on to another creative outlet afterwards once this project is done and I feel like I've said all I can. I don't want to be like The Walking Dead where there are seasons of filler or a book that has no final chapter. I still haven't decided when I'll write my final chapter. Maybe it's already being written. I don't know. Enough sad. Chibi Robo should come back and that's the thesis of the video! Bam!
You've been working on any new material?
I wrote my own book.
It's got a book.
It's called Stranded Steve.
And you had to look that up?
Thank you for having me on.
What's up with it, motherfucker? It's your boy. Eat that 445. Stranded Steve. Get the book. Support charity. Fuck you.